F snow, I'm going to.
All right, cash payments journal. So on Friday, we used the purchases journal, and the purchases journal was used for anytime we do what?
Product. Merchandise.
Merchandise.
Oh, that wasn't here.
Merchandise is stuff that we do what with? That we sell. All right? And what account do we associate with purchasing merchandise? Like if we buy merchandise, it's an asset. What do we debit? What account do we debit? Purchases. All right? So anytime we buy merchandise, we use purchases. If we buy it on account, we use the purchases journal. And it actually simplifies our transaction. And that's the same thing that the cash payments journal does. The cash payments journal we use anytime we do what? What do you suppose?
Cash.
Anytime you use cash
Purchase merchandise.
to purchase anything. Anything at all. And the way it's set up is kind of like the purchases journal, where instead of writing in the general journal, like if we purchase supplies for cash, you'd write supplies, and then underneath it you'd write cash, and you have a debit and a credit. In the cash payments journal, you don't ever have to write cash out because you already have a built-in cash credit column. So anytime you credit cash, you just write the number in there, and you don't actually have to write cash. So the first transaction that we're going to look at says we paid cash for telephone bill. Well, normally, what would our two accounts be?
Cash and expense.
Utilities expense, right? So this is on October 1st. So 2013, October 1st. All I'm going to do is write utilities expense. And it's check number 321. And then I check these are all special amount columns. So I need to debit utilities expense. Is there a utilities expense column specifically? No. So then what do you suppose I use? General debit. So that amount is $85. I don't have anything else, so under cash credit, I write 85. And it's the same transactions we've been doing. We're just writing them a little bit different, a little bit simpler. All right, the next one says paid cash for office supplies. So is there a special column for office supplies? No. So on the 7th, I'm going to write office supplies. It's $322. $52 there, and $52 there. Pretty simple, huh? All right, those are the easier ones. You look at the next transaction, it says this. Paid cash to GMT Hardware for merchandise with a list price of $800 less a 60% trade discount. Okay. That's quite a bit off. So what are we buying? Merchandise. Merchandise. What account do we use with merchandise? No. You already said it.
Assets.
No. It is an asset. We use purchases. Is there a purchases column?
Yes, there is. Discount credit.
That says purchases discount,
Oh.
not
okay.
purchases.
Yeah.
So, is there a purchases column?
No.
No. So I'm going to write purchases in.
Anywhere?
Right there. Purchases. And when it says trade discount, a lot of times they do, I'll tell you what they do. It says with a list price of $800 less a 60% trade discount.
Which one?
And so let's say I have a magazine. I probably have one here.
And he has pencils somewhere.
There's a book.
There's a magazine probably in the yeah, a whole bunch right there in this box over here.
I'll show you what I got.
Guarantee you.
Yeah, like there's a Gill Athletics.
Where's the Gill Athletics one?
It's right there in the
Okay.
That's
Not a new line.
Alright, Gill Athletics. And what they have is they'll send these out to people that sell Gill products. And for instance, you'll see, alright, this is a blocks cart. And they have a list price of $876. And the reason they list it as that is because that's typically what people sell it for. And so if I'm selling Gill products and I'm trying to get Daniel to buy a starting block set, and I'll show him in the catalog what it looks like, and it has the price listed there is $876. So I get a trade discount because I want Daniel to pay approximately $876 for it, but there's got to be some room in there for me to make money on it, right? Because if I buy it from Gill for $876 and sell it to him for $876,
you have no profit.
there's not much room there. You know what I'm saying? So typically, the list price is not what sellers buy it for. They get it's called a trade discount. So the trade discount that they're saying on this $800 is 60%. So if I know I only have to pay 60% of this 876, I can even offer Daniel, I'll say, you know what, you're a really good customer. I'll give it to you for $850. And I know that I'm going to buy it for 60% off that, so approximately $400. I'm going to sell it to him for $850. I'm going to make $450. So that's kind of the way it works, because they don't want Daniel, the end customer, to see that this is only costing $400. Because if he knows it only costs $400, then he's going to say, well, then I'll pay you $500, and be fine, because that's kind of the middleman. The middleman's got to make a little money on this. All right. So I have to record what I am purchasing these products for to sell, and it says $800 less a 60% trade discount. So if it's $800, how do I figure what I actually pay for it?
You minus the 60%?
You minus 60%, or you take it times
126.
0.4. Because if I get 60% off, I'm only paying 40%. 40% of 800 is probably $320.
I do it that way. I do it times by 0.6 and I just take it back minus.
Okay. And what do you get? $320. Okay, so I'm going to write $320 as my debit for purchases right here. And that would be $320. So that's the trade discount. All I'm doing is recording how much I actually paid for it. You don't actually write down what your discount is. You just write down what you paid for it. And that gets a little bit confusing because of the next transaction. Okay, the next transaction says we paid cash on account to West Supply, covering purchase invoice number 199. So when it says covering purchase invoice 199, if you flip back to 9.1, you see anytime I purchase something on account, I still owe these people money. I have a purchase invoice number. It's 116. And that amount is whatever you have recorded there. And what they're telling us in this is that I have purchased merchandise, but I have not paid them. So when I'm paying on account, I credit cash and I debit what? When I'm paying on account, accounts payable. Is there an amount, is there a special column for accounts payable? Yes. Okay. So I'm not actually going to write accounts payable here because I already have accounts payable right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the name of the person that I'm paying. So this person is West Supply. What's the date on that? West Supply 3/24, and it says less a 2% discount. And sometimes this is different than a trade discount. The 2% that I owe money to, if I owe, it says I owe $3,420. And what companies will do to entice people to pay their bill is they will give them a discount if they pay their bill quickly and on time. And what they're saying is, if you pay your bill quickly, we'll give you a 2% off. So 2% off of 3,420 is how much? So
$6.84.
it's only $6. It's got to be more than that. Is it really only $6? So you take 3420,
No, it's
3420 times
like
0.02, it's $68.40. So that's the amount that I owe them, but I don't have to pay it. Does that make sense? Because I'm early. So the amount that I owe them, and after this whole transaction's over, am I going to owe them any more money? No, I'm not going to owe them any more money. So, how much money do I actually owe them? $34.20, right?
Yeah.
And when this is over, I'm going to owe them $0. So I know my accounts payable debit, I can write $34.20. But I'm not going to credit cash for that much because I'm not giving them that much cash. I have a discount. So is there a discount column? Okay, the discount column is where I'm going to write what my discount is. And I said it was what? 68.40. So 68.40. How much am I actually going to pay them? This 34.20 minus my 68.40, which is what? 33.51.60. Do my debits equal my credits? I've got one debit. These two credits added up need to equal this one debit. And if they do, you're good. And it looks like they do. Okay, and purchases discount, this is called a contra account. So normally purchases, it's an asset, it's a debited amount. This is a contra account because it works directly against my purchases. So 3420 minus 6840 gives me that. Pretty simple, huh? And then the next one, it says we paid cash on account to Quill Forest Products covering purchase invoice 182 for $4,380. No cash discount was offered. So I don't have to worry about it. They're not giving me a discount for paying early. Some companies do, some companies don't. They don't. So I have cash is going to be credited. What's going to be debited? Accounts payable. Is there a column for accounts payable? Yes. So then I do not need to write accounts payable. I just write who I'm paying. Quill Forest Products. $325. And my accounts payable is going to be debited $43.80. There's no discount, so therefore the actual cash amount I pay them is $43.80. All right, then it says they don't have you prove and rule it. I want to know why they wouldn't have you prove and rule it. All right, so that's basically it. Do you